Good morning. My name is Helen Turner, and on behalf of Yvonne, Nadine Brown's family, I would like to thank you in joining us as we celebrate her life on today. I first would like to offer my deepest condolences for the loss of your daughter, sister, friend, teacher, confidant, and most importantly, mother to Layla and Samira. Yvonne has made a special impact on the lives of all of you here today, and I hope the words and reflections that are spoken will serve as a comfort to each of you as you grieve the loss of your loved one. We will now have the Solitude Janat of Janat.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your appearance. We're assembling here today to remember and celebrate Yvonne Brown. I'm a family friend for 50 years. I never had any children of my own. And when the single mother was raising 3 children, I wanted to be a part of their life and be an instrument of change affecting these girls' lives. Yvonne was 1, Darlene was number 2, Kevin was number 3, 3 brothers and sisters. Sometimes there was friction, tension, but we intervened and they turned out to be wonderful children. Now, remembering her, I will say a few words in Arabic. I come from Iran. I've been here 60 years. I was married to an Afro-American. He was a great supporter of Yvonne and Darlene and Kevin. He was in military because of his influence. Yvonne was full of love for a diverse group of people from all over the world. She had friends of all nationalities. And she worked next door to a gentleman who became a husband of two beautiful girls who were a living memory of how she raised them and how she wanted the best in life for them. So I will not take your time any longer, and I will say a few words. I wrote my phone number in the book, and if I can be of any assistance, just a few hours of respite to be good auntie to these children, I'd be glad to give a little space to Daddy to have some time to himself, because I know there are quite a few challenges out there. We are confronted with so many temptations and obstacles nowadays for our teenage kids that you worry constantly, every minute of the day. But the foundation has been planted already, and they will know right from wrong. And they're in good hands, and your prayers will help. So I will say a few verses of the Quran that it will send her off. And you say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. God is merciful. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. There is only one. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Gear us to the right direction and straight direction. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Make sure our pathway is right, righteousness, and lawful abiding person. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. These were the first two verses of the prayer in the Muslim rituals that is done 5 times. And thank you for taking a moment to think of her ancestors who were practicing Muslim, and her mother who was a devout Muslim teaching. And may God keep her in peace, rest her in peace, and we will go forward with her loving children who are bestowed on the daddy to do a good job. And God pray, Allahu Akbar, Assalamu Alaikum. Thank you for your listening. All right.
We will now have a poem by Jordan Hill, followed by a music selection by Jay Brooks and Doug Bird.
Before I start my poem, I would just like to say that my auntie Yvonne, ironically enough, she started me with poetry around the age of, I'd say, like 5, 7, and so I wrote this one for her, and it's titled As the Sun Rises and Sets. As the sun rises, we begin to collect all of our luggage before the sun sets. passing through time with clear intentions set, or maybe just passing with little regrets. Golden hours are time to shine, and I'll never forget when you burst in mine. Sharing the virtue that our sun projects to discover our definition of the light the sun reflects. The sun begins to set like the cycle is on. Now the moon is out, high up in the sky and stars shining, reminding me of the reasons why we bask in our golden hours in order to fly. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade and Doug, for that song, and thank you, Jordan, for that beautiful poem. We will now have another poem by Crystal Reid, followed by another musical selection by Tamika Hill. We will have a poem by C.C. Felton. We will open it up to we will open it up now for reflections from family and friends. We ask if you want to come up and please limit, due to time, we limit 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yvonne and I go way back, over 30 years. I wish I could say that when I met her, we hit it off and we were instant friends, but that's not the truth. I met her in the 7th grade. Didn't really like her at first. All these years later, I still can't put my finger on why that was. Perhaps it was her confidence, her swag, if you will. Maybe it was my middle school insecurities that got the best of me and I couldn't handle it. So we bumped heads at first. But to be truthful, it was all one-sided. She was never fazed by it. My dislike, that is. She kept it moving. If you knew Yvonne, then you understand the nonchalant attitude in which I refer to. We ended up in Mr. Grimes' science class together, got partnered up to dissect a frog. She wasn't about cutting it, and I was about getting the job done, and therefore our roles were established. That class solidified our relationship that turned into far more than just that. People say that friends are the family that you get to choose, and that's absolutely right when it comes to her. I chose her, and she chose me. Eventually, through the years of our friendship, my family would come to embrace her and choose her too. Her and all her crazy antics, Yvonne was the most resourceful person I've ever known, a hustler, if you will. I called her the network queen. If she wanted something, she would figure it out, how to get it and what to do, and she would do exactly that. She'd get it. She was humble and she was kind. She had a way of making you feel like you were the most important person in the world when you conversed with her. That was because you had her undivided attention, and she was truly interested in what it is you had to say, fully engulfed in every word that you spoke. She would hang on your words even, internalize, analyze, and before responding, when she did, she would leave you with a gem, whether it was a question to help you contemplate or an insight. It usually was deep, well thought out. That's just the thinker in her. She loved her children. She loved her chosen few, her family, if you will, and loved them deeply. If you were a part of her family or friends, then I need not tell you that. Her feelings for you didn't have to be spoken. You felt them in her presence, her support, her words, or her embrace. When she created a family of her own, oh, how she cherished that. She loved both Layla and Samira beyond any words that could ever be spoken. She wanted them to have more than she ever had and ever could imagine for them. So she exposed them to everything. Any experience or any opportunity given, she grabbed it. She wanted the best for those girls, and they were never far from her side. She demonstrated the chosen family model through the people she exposed them to. Many of you are here today. Yvonne was definitely family to me. Those aren't just words. She was my sister. time without talking, we would easily pick right back up from where we were. I loved her as if she was my blood sister. I envied her confidence and her fearlessness. I took pride in every accomplishment she made. She had so many. She never met a goal that she couldn't meet. I loved the mother she was, loved her silliness that she exuded, appreciated her dramatics. I know y'all have heard her exaggerated words or those sound effects. So many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. That was part of the being that she was. I can go on, but we'd be here all day. I'll just end by saying that I will miss her and all the things about her because she was so special to me. She was my sister, my family, always was and always will be. She may be gone, but she will never be forgotten. I love you now.
Yvonne joined our family as a young teenager. She was not only my daughter Christy's best friend, she was part of the Bettis clan. She participated in all the family shenanigans, many of which led to being verbally scolded right along with my own brew. This happened so much so that she earned the title of an honorary family member. Yvonne was one of us for sure. She was headstrong, persistent, caring, and loving. She could spin a positive into any negative situation. She could hold a room full of people captive with the story she was ready to tell. She was animated. She knew how to keep the suspense going. If you knew Yvonne, you knew she would stand firm in her beliefs. She would explain herself clearly, so much so you may even think of changing your opposition. She did not do this as a persuasion technique, but as a matter-of-fact statement. She never felt sorry for the cards that were dealt her. Instead, she took action. She made things happen. She did not wait for life to improve. She attacked life with gusto and determination. I could go on with more accolades or even indoctrinate you on the Yvonne Brown philosophies, but I would never fully do her justice. So I will close by saying, as a fully vaccinated individual, I know, as many of you did, you asked yourself, why? Why, Yvonne? Why didn't you get a vaccination? Well, because in true Yvonne fashion, she stood for what she believed in. So, for that, I respect her. You will always be loved and missed by our family, Yvonne.
I think everyone at some point has had an opportunity to be touched by that positive spirit named Yvonne Brown. At Parkdale High School, when she was working with us, you know when you meet somebody and their spirit is just right. That was Yvonne. While I was standing today, I looked at her birthday and I said, let me look this up. Let me look this up. And spiritually, 4/18, her birthday, it's crazy. Angel number 4/18 wants you to always be willing to take care of others who look up to you and depend on you for help and guidance. Be considerate of people's needs and always meet them at their points of need. Try all that you can to ensure that you perform your responsibilities with happiness and enthusiasm. Always ensuring that your loved ones get all they need to make the best of their lives as you elevate your life. Do not leave them behind. Show them that you care for them. And you will always be there to take care of their needs. 4/18 symbolism wants you to use blessings to make the world a better place. How ironic is that? We didn't put that deep, but that's Yvonne. Always caring for others, always building a better life for others. It hurts because we're here and we know those two girls got to carry this. But what I really want them to carry is where she laid that foundation is spiritual growth, keeping them positive. And if there's nothing else we can do, just to embrace them as they grow and be there for Adam's level as he's raising them. But the foundation has already been set for positive growth.
So when we think about Yvonne, the hurt is knowing that physically she's not here. But we know spiritually she's watching right now. Right now. And it's beauty. So for Yvonne, thank you for coming into my life and letting me see what beauty truly is in a person's soul.
I had not planned to speak, but that was one of our things. As Yvonne always said, you need to speak because you have things to say. So, baby, trust and believe that I am okay. You carry on, you eat some good food, and you get some knowledge for your, because I lit it up. I did everything that I said I was going to do on this earth. My book is published. I'm a published model. My light will never be dimmed. I want you all to carry on and light it up.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I'm not going to sit here and cry because I cried enough. But one of the things that I do want to say to everyone, and just while we're here, we really got to be mindful of the joy that she shared and spread. It was one of the things that kind of got me over this moment in a second. It's almost like your heart got ripped out a little bit watching this, right? But joy does come in the morning, right? And I never had Miss Brown's class ever, but I was always in there. And of a lot of my teachers, Joe, where are you? And I'd be in her class, you know what I'm saying, kicking it with Mr. Adams and them. And I'm like, you know what? I've always wondered why I never had her class. I was like, why they never put me in your class? Like, because this is the best class in the place, you know what I'm saying? But everybody said it, and I'm just going to reiterate. There is nothing like making a friend that becomes family to you. And she was one of, like, when I was going through stuff, when I was a teenager, unconfident about myself, or anything, it was more so just going up there and she'd be like, Nushi, you are good. You're an extemporaneous speaker. And I've kept that with me all these years. And it's just one of those things that now, you know, it's hard to watch, it's hard to see, but there is a place in glory. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, yeah, it sucks right now, but she is in a far better place than I could ever want to be, because I have to clock in about 3 hours, and I'm like, dang. But there was a song that was supposed to be sang, and it's I Shall Wear a Crown. And I'm just going to touch on it for a second, if y'all would bid me to. Organist, you got that? All right, let's do it.
You start, figure it out.
I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown. When it's all over, I gotta excuse me. When it's all over, I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown. When it's all over, oh, when it's all over, I'm just gonna stick to the, I'm gonna put on my robe until the story, how I made it over. Oh, I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story, how I made it over. And soon as I get home, soon as I get home. And that's where she is. And this room full of people, I just want y'all to understand, that crown that she's got, each and every person in this room, that's a ruby, that's a jewel. Every moment, every effective moment in our lives, anytime she picked you up when we were down, anytime she gave you a recommendation, it was always built out of love. So just understand that when she got to heaven, trust me, there was a crown, there was a robe. And that girl that was crying, that crying girl is crying no longer, because we are here. And we're here to do and show forth what she was. So, Nushi, I love you. Blood could not have made us any more family than we were. And for that reason, I thank God. And for that reason, I thank God that I see all of you. And I thank God that we've made it through. It's been almost 2 years of this God-forsaken disease. And yes, it's taken a lot of loved ones, but today, and I don't want to be there to see it right now, because I still got more life to live. But I'm thankful to God that even in that time, her interactions with me, her interactions with you, her interactions with her daughters, everything puts that ruby, that jewel in her crown that she can walk around with. So that's my 3 minutes. God bless you. Have a good day.
Sang my song. Few things. Fathers. In high school, me and Yvonne used to live together with Miss Jenkins. And it's funny because Miss Jenkins used to want us to, go to bed by a certain time, not be up too late. And we would make so much noise upstairs sometimes because Yvonne is really silly. And she was so silly. And I can't even say what she used to do in the room, but I used to throw my shoes at her so she could get away from me. And Miss Jenkins would be like, "Stop all that noise upstairs." And then in the morning, because we kept her up, she would come in the room. Sometimes she would bang pots and blow a whistle at the same time, first thing in the morning, Miss Jenkins. And she would say, "Get up! If you can hoop with the owls, you can soar with the eagles." And that's all I kept hearing. This whole service. If you can hoop with the owls, you can soar with the eagles. And my friend is soaring with the eagles right now. Let me get through this song. I shall wear a crown when it's all over. When it's all over, I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown when it's all over. Oh, when it's all over, yeah, I shall see His face. I shall see His face. Yeah, when it's all over. When it's all over, I'm going to put on my robe, tell the story, how I made it over. I'm gonna put on my robe and tell the story, how I made it over. Oh, soon as I get home, but first I'm going to put on my robe, tell the story, how she made it over. She's probably in heaven right now. She's got a robe on. And she's telling the story, how she made it over. Oh,
Good morning. I wrote a poem for Miss Brown, and it's titled Legacy of Love.
The crying girl we all once knew has cried for the last time, took her last breath with a heart of joy and insatiable love. She wrapped her arms around every single one of us today, but specifically her daughters. We do not dwell on her state the last time we saw her, the last time we were blessed with her presence. We do not dwell on the things we cannot change, but yet we are all grateful. For Crying Girl became more than a movement, but a way of life. A legacy of love for oneself despite. The reminder that you made it even when dealt a bad hand. A reminder that we hold our own destiny, but we must tap into our inner strength to overcome. So today, let us remember what Yvonne Brown fought for. Let us from this day forward tap into our inner strength. For we now have an angel to guide us through the pain. Thank you for the way you loved me and encouraged me even when I felt I wasn't enough. For being my safe haven even when I felt like giving up. For spearheading a movement we all must believe in. And for being such a beautiful soul who radiates light. Thank you.
We will now have words from Imam Muhyiddin Abdul Sabur.
Good morning. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man walah. We always begin with praising Allah. And salutations and peace upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all those who follow him in his way until the last day. I got a call from an old friend of mine, Aliyah. She said, I heard you was Yvonne. I said, nah, I ain't no real Yvonne. But sometimes nobody want to really accept the responsibility, right? I said, sometimes I feel the position, right? She said, well, I have a friend of mine that was Muslim. I'll give you your husband's number so you can talk to him. We talked a little bit. He expressed to me her desire to be buried as a Muslim. And I know a lot of time in our culture, in our life, we don't know what that really entails. We see one thing all the time, and we think it's like that for everybody. We drive on this side of the road here, we get to another country, we drive on the other side, we say they drive on the wrong side of the car. Like they wrong. But that's how it is where they are. So for us as Muslims, we have some different, if you will, rituals that we have as Muslims that must be taking place at the time of burial. And burial is very, very, very important. Death is very important. Allah says in the Quran, أَكْثَرُ ذِكْرِ subhanallah, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every soul will taste death. Every soul. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every soul. So no matter your race, no matter your nationality, age, where you come from, we all believe one thing. We gotta die. Nobody will disagree about that. Right? In another ayah in the Quran, Allah says, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Beware, be conscious. Keep it in your mind on the day when you have to meet your Creator. Because we live life so fast, it be happening. And then, death comes. Our Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, أَكْثَرُ ذِكْرِ هَذَا مِنَ الذَّكْرِ. Remember often to destroy your pleasures. Why so much about death? Why? The scholars, they give us 3 benefits of remembering death. And I want y'all to take this in, please. Because this is very, very important when we live in our lives. What happened to me today, the reason I was late, right? Yesterday the school called. They said 20 people in the school got COVID and 20 students, 3 teachers. School closed. So this morning I'm trying to figure out where to take the children, where to put the children, right? We've been faced with something that for our children, that's all they know, but we know something different. Online school, mass like this, right? How do we explain to them the benefit? In August, I'll just give you an example. I had a heart attack. Everybody said, you don't eat nothing but grass. You don't do nothing but ride bicycle and jog all day. How you? None of us know how it's going to happen. The same week I had a heart attack on Saturday, the same week all my children had COVID. All of them was diagnosed with COVID. 5, 10, and 11. The reason why I'm telling you is because I want to bring us into the reality. Because Allah says in the Quran, al-haqqa. The reality. What is the reality? The reality is that we're on a journey. We're on a journey. Now, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he encouraged us to live life as such. We will have to meet our Creator. And the benefit in remembering death, from the first of those benefits, is that you will rush, you return. You will rush to repentance, to return to your Creator. When you do wrong, you will rush to repent. You won't say, did I do that tomorrow? When you did some wrong to somebody, you say, oh man, forget that. We'll worry about that later. Because you don't know when that person going to go. I know some people right now, man, I wish I would have told her this. I wish I would have said, it happens all the time. One of the main things you hear at the funeral, I wish I would have said this. But if you remember death often, remember death often. If you remember it often, you won't delay that. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in remembering death, second benefit the scholar gives us, they tell us that when you remember death, he said that you won't be fighting and toiling with others over the things of this world. Because when you die, you can't take your car with you. You can't take your house with you. Your clothes, none of these things. So the fight won't be about the material things of this world. Your fight will be really about preparing yourself for how your journey going to end. And none of us know. The third thing he said that you will be content with what the Creator has blessed you with. We see people now, why I ain't got this, why I don't have that. One of the biggest causes of death, depression, stress. But when we remember that we have to leave this world, we're on a journey. Our sister, she was on a journey. This was the time that the Creator had allotted for her. I did a funeral for a 2-month-old baby. That's all the Creator gave him. So the years that we have, the days that we have, the moments that we have, cherish them, but prepare yourself for the ending of your journey by, again, remembering death and the benefits of remembering death. This is about as much as I would like to mention here. I know y'all have some other things, and I'll mention more at the burial grounds as a prayer. I'll do the prayer at the burial grounds. We have some copies here so you can see exactly what I say in the prayer. The prayer is silent. It's a silent prayer. And I'll mention some things that happens after death. And this is very, very important for us. And I try to always, when I do this, to bring people's attention to the true reality. We're seeing two things today. I always say this. Where our sisters, will we taking our sister to? And where we all will be going one day. It's a fact. So just those few words, I'm going to pass it back over to the MC. Those of you who follow us to the burial grounds, I'll mention more words there. I'll make the prayer at the burial grounds for our sister. And hopefully we ask Allah, most importantly, that Allah forgive her sins. Allah forgive her. Those that we know and those that we don't know. That the Creator has mercy on her and all of us. That Allah makes her grave spacious. Since it's earth. That He makes His grave spacious and that it's not constricted. and that he raised her to the highest level of paradise or heaven when she enters the heaven. Allahumma ameen. Assalamu alaikum.
Before we have the reading of the obituary and acknowledgments, if anyone else would like to come up and say some more words, you may. At this point, I'll open up.
Hey everybody. Hello. So, Yvonne for me, that was my auntie Yvonne. She was wonderful. And lately, I've just been replaying, I'm very silly, but I've been replaying the song remixes that she did with me and my sister. And how when she would come over to our house, me and my sister would have talent shows for her and my mom. And she was a very theatrical and wonderful person, and I'm gonna miss her a lot. And I'm just grateful that she was alive. And yeah.
My name is AJ Verdell, and I am here representing the Toni Morrison Society. The beautiful Miss Yvonne Brown was very involved with the Toni Morrison Society. She was very energetic and lovely and warm and inviting and busy. She loved Toni Morrison, and Toni Morrison loved her. When I joined the Toni Morrison Society, Yvonne was already there, along with most of the other people who are on the board. I was sent an email because I was in Baltimore and they were looking for people who were local to come and represent the Toni Morrison Society. Toni Morrison was a great, great writer, and she was a great friend of Yvonne's. And Yvonne was, like many of us, sort of awestruck. And so she kept the society in social media. She kept her girls involved in the work that the society did so that her girls would understand writing and greatness and matriarchy. So we will miss her, but the testimonies and the translations have been really wonderful to experience this morning.
Peace be upon all of you. Good after morning, everyone. I was also always in Mr. Adams and Ms. Brown class kid back in Parkdale, never in my own classroom. Yes, it is. Hey. And I flew from LA to be here and stayed longer than I was, because I was like, I have to be here. Ms. Brown and Mr. Adams were my poetry mom and poetry pops, and they kept me right, and they took such good care of me. And death is not static. Death is a transition. Grief allows us to feel the world of this transition. Grief is a vehicle, and sometimes it feels broken and run down, AC not working, tags expired. But today, Grief is a top-down leather seats riding on a coast with the breeze in our hair and sunbathing in our skin. Because that's the joy of life Ms. Brown had. And when joy is your engine, anything is possible. And that's who Ms. Brown was. She someone say, ain't nothing impossible for me, honey. And she lived that, you know. She was that, she did that. And some people are thunder and rumble, but Ms. Brown is a stampede. She's a typhoon of a woman. She's the crying girl who chased rainbows just so she could share the pot of gold with all of those she loved. And I thank you for being a blessing in my life. I thank you for showing us how to be blessed. Your legacy lives in your daughters, your family, your loved ones, in all of us. And everything you said you wanted to accomplish, you did. You did. Before your time came, you did everything you said you was going to do. And you're an indelible spirit, flawed and beautiful. And you wore joy like a tourniquet because you knew that your smile and laughter could fix anything. And I appreciate you for that. We'll always love you for that. Thank you, Ms. Brown. And thank you to all of you here. We're going to continue to represent that joy that she had in life. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Hinton. I knew Yvonne from working at the YMCA on 13th and W Street, where she used to go work out all the time. I just want to say that Yvonne was a big sister that I've never had. When I moved to Washington, D.C., fresh out of graduate school, didn't know anything about life or anything. She was really helping to guide me and was really a good friend to me. Don't want to be before you long, but I felt it would be remiss if I didn't say something. So I just want to say that, I'm very thankful to Yvonne for everything she's done and all the guidance that she gave me when I was trying to learn more about myself. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Steve Waters and I'm working with the Virtual Academy, which Yvonne joined recently. And I won't take much of your time, but I felt like I needed to speak not for myself because I didn't know Yvonne as well as some of the teachers and the students who worked with her, but I did speak with her. And she touched me in a very brief conversation on the phone as we brought her onto our team. And I was very honored that she was able to join our ranks. And I just wanted to say that we live in a time when a person like Yvonne can touch people without ever having met them in person. And she can reach through the screen and she can tell students what it is about literature she loves so much. And what I've always loved about literature as an English person myself and as a kindred spirit in that way is that you can tell others your story and give them your vision and your light. And she did that for our students and for our teachers who are here. And I want to thank you for having us today. Thank you.
Good morning. Just listening that I have just met Yvonne a couple months ago on behalf of the creative photography, model, stylist, makeup artist. We thank Ms. Yvonne Brown for her joyful presence. I can tell you a couple of stories, but I just don't want to take much of your time. What I do remember is that the many times that we did speak, we would start a text, but we would end in a phone call. And everybody probably knows that. We first met at Boston Quarters in Arlington when we had our first portrait in DC event. Basically, it's a huge community of photographers, models, stylists, makeup artists, and all creators who are looking to help each other, support each other in a creative community. Yvonne just awed us with her presence. It was so strong that you could feel as she's the friend that you've had for such a long time, even that you had just met her. And that's how I felt.
there's a video that we did shoot at the location where every step that she took was very powerful. And that reminds me that that strong woman that's trying to make a difference in anybody's life, everybody's life. And we recently published a few images that she was actually expecting. And in the title, we titled it Queen of Reinvention After 40. And that makes such a huge, strong statement of how Yvonne wanted, how eager Yvonne was to make a difference. And I'm very happy to have met her, and very thankful. Our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Yvonne. And thank you for everybody. Thank you.
That is all. I wanted to share a few acknowledgments that some people who knew Yvonne shared on the GoFundMe page. Carlton May said, Ms. Brown made it okay for me to feel accepted. She embraced the light in me that I was trying so hard to shy away from. For that, I'll forever be grateful. Thank you for sharing your light so others can embrace theirs. Sarah Naeem said, I'm so sorry to hear this news. My condolences to your family. Yvonne was a family friend who I knew since we were young, keeping her and her loved ones in my heart and thoughts. And the last one I'll read is by Naomi Watts. She says, because she was a dear friend, a young, beautiful, talented writer and mother of two exquisite young daughters, she just wants to remind everyone to get vaccinated. As I stand here and I listen to many of you, I actually wasn't going to say anything. My uncle, I wanted to support him and the girls and his family, and because I didn't know Yvonne, I only met her one time, and that was a while back, before right after we came from overseas, and I will say she made sure that those girls know that I was their cousin. So I knew that she was a family person. That's what I've heard. My mom talked to her a lot. And so what I'm hearing is warm, joyful, and I pray that we just, as we see Layla and Samira, that we just remember that her warmth and joy is within them too. We will now have the reading of her obituary and acknowledgments by Layla Eslam.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aliyah Waheed, and Yvonne Brown was an amazing spirit. She and I became mutual friends through my sister Tamika, and we were the godmothers of her beautiful children. Yvonne was an amazing support to me in my career as an opera singer. And I recall the last conversation we had as I was going to the Metropolitan Opera. She said how proud she was for the success that I've had in opera. And she gave me so many resources, as I heard so many people say how resourceful she was. And it was just such a blessing to have her truly in my life. And if it's okay, I would just like to sing a verse of Ave Maria. I think I can remember the text, sorry. Ave Maria.
afternoon. I'm Layla, another Layla here. And I feel very honored just to even be able to even do this. Yvonne Brown was born to parents, Ms. Rodney Brown and Curtis Owen Brown, on April 18, 1977. She returned to Allah on November 26, 2021. She's survived by her children. Survived by her children, Layla Phoenix Adams and Samira Love English Adams, and Nell Adams, sister Darlene Sagir, and brothers Kevin Brown and Eric Brown. She earned an MA in teaching and a BA in English from the University of Maryland. Yvonne, a devoted educator, served as an English teacher at Parkdale High School in Prince George's County, Maryland, for a decade, and recently for Montgomery County Public Schools. Yvonne was an accomplished writer and poet, as she authored the novels Crying Girl and Chasing Rainbows, and founded the empowering Crying Girl movement. Her writing has been published in The Voices and Maryland Writers Project, broadcasted on Radio 1, and highlighted in Paper Magazine. She was the original director of Lyrical Storm Arts and Entertainment and the co-founder of the Phoenix Medina Writers Project nonprofit organization. She served in various capacities for the Toni Morrison Society, ranging from archivalist to her latest role as social media chair for 15 years. Yvonne has recently reinvented herself as an over 40 model, was featured in Khazar's magazine. Hope I said that correctly. We ask to pray that Allah has mercy on her for any sins she committed, accepts her numerous good deeds, and enters her into paradise. And family wishes to acknowledge with deep appreciation the many expressions of love, concern, and kindness shown during this time of bereavement.
The reading of the eulogy will be by Sherelle Furman.
Good afternoon, everyone. So much has been said that I don't even know where to begin. Yvonne and I met about 13 or 14 years ago. She was a client of mine, and we became very good friends. I consider her as family, okay? As she entered into my life and my children's life and then into her children's life. It's not much that hasn't already been said about her here today, but Yvonne was a great woman of character, and as I would always say, you know, character is what you do when no one is watching. And she was a great friend, a beautiful mother, and she didn't give a damn about what anybody thought, okay? So I remember, I'm just going to tell this story. I remember last year at the height of COVID, she got the girls in a car with the dog, and they went from beach to beach. And when she called me, she said, "Do you think that I'm crazy?" I said, "Absolutely not." And she said, "Well, I'm getting so much backlash. You just don't know how many people are judging me, you know, for doing this." I said, "Well, you're creating memories, long-lasting memories for your girls. That's something that they will never forget." At her book signing, I had the pleasure of attending and met some of her students. And so I don't even need to say the impact that she made on the lives of so many people, and that legacy will continue and carry on and on and on and on. A great poet, an author, a life well lived. She was a fighter, very determined. And she lived her life on her own terms, as we all know, right? And when everyone says resourceful, oh my goodness, talk about resourceful. When I say she was a client, I helped Yvonne save her house from foreclosure, okay? And I just felt this thing, I just have this thing about always helping and trying to figure out different ways, right? So at any given time, even if she didn't express a need of something, you know, I would always share those things with her, right? And we had this thing always this time of year, so it's really, it's touched me in such a way, right? Because I had been given a blessing around Thanksgiving about 4 years ago. And I ran into Yvonne and the girls at Margiano's. And when I saw her, I said, "What are you doing for Thanksgiving?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Are you cooking? What are you doing?" She said, "I don't know." And I just felt compelled to just put something, just to sow a seed, right? And every year, she always, you know, I would look for different resources to share with her. And so last year, one of my friends was doing a giveaway. I said, "Yvonne, I put your name on the list, go." She said, "Okay." This year, the same thing. I don't know if she made it to the event or not, but the last communication that she and I had, we just, you know, had a nice, about 15-minute talk. And she said that she wasn't feeling well. And I asked her, was she vaccinated? And she said, "I plead the fifth." I said, "You know what? No judgment here, right?" I just said, "Be well." And a few days after, I got a message on my phone from her, a voice message, that then ultimately deleted. And she said, "I just want to thank you for always looking out for me and the girls, especially this time of year." And I wish that I would have replied to that, or that there was some way that I could have saved it, but it was one of those things that you listen to and then it just goes away. But I know her heart. She knows my heart. I know that Neville has been this thing with you, right? And I'm not gonna turn it, you know, into this thing, but you know, with the passing of your daughter Alexa's mom, and you were left to raise her, and now Layla and Samira. And when I told you that I want to be a part of your village, I meant that. Amen. With all of my heart, okay? And if it's anything that I can do from my family to your family, please do not hesitate to call, because we will be there, okay? And I'm not going to say, "Oh, be strong," because we need to let it go, to let it out, okay? We need to breathe through it and think about all of the good memories, all of the good things that you and her shared, and the things that her children, her daughters, the memories that she created for them. You know, and they're old enough to remember that, and they will remember it. Just like that video that I had on my phone that I shared, you know, with Samira, that was just priceless. And I know that they will cherish all of those things. And I'm just going to end it here because I just want to say, well done, Yvonne. Well done. Amen.
Before we have another musical selection, we would like to open up the floor again for the last time for any more reflections if you guys have any.
Hi everybody, my name is Gerald Wilson. I did not plan on speaking, but I'm just moved to, and I just want to say, I'm a recent friend of Yvonne's, only about 2 or 3 years. But the strength of character shows that when you meet a person, you feel the character and it's consistent. I can hear stories of her as a child and how she interacts with her friends and family and know that was Yvonne. In the brief time I got to know her, I got to spend lots of time with her. And she really was a light in my life. And to see someone so vibrant, so full of life, unfortunately be snuffed out at a certain point, it's extra hard because that presence which was so strong just isn't there anymore in the physical. She's definitely with us in spirit. I'm certain of that. And I just want to remind everybody, Yvonne lived life to the fullest. I drew on her energy. She brought energy to me. We would just mainly frolic around town taking photos. And, and thank God for that, because in the short amount of time that she had, she lived so much life, she captured so much of it. And two people saying, "I shall wear a crown today," her crowns are her daughters. Her legacy lives on in them, and she's captured enough life. She's shared enough experiences where they'll always have those. And so unfortunately she had to depart, but they will have a strong sense of who she was. She laid a solid foundation for them. And it's for us as a community to continue to cultivate that within them, and to finish her work. Such a strong legacy. And that is the fruit of the work that she cultivated, the work that she did with all of her students. She was an expert teacher. She was an expert, just bon vivant, I should say. And I also wanted to say that, yes, she was a wonderful demonstration of how to live life, how to make moments, how to show up for people, how to be generous. She literally shared food with me. She didn't have to, but she did. She went out of her way to do that. She was just a phenomenal model of a human being, and I'm so glad to see that everybody showed up to help her in this moment of transition and to just share her memory and legacy, because she did so much for the community. And thank you all for allowing me to speak.
I'm compelled to be up here, crying because I had to have a conversation with myself just now. I said, "Yvonne, you really want me to do that?" She said, "Yeah." 5 minutes, I said, in bed with this house. Yvonne was intubated. She couldn't be one of the ones giving the message and say, "Take this thing serious." We see it all the time. When somebody's saying they get a chance to make a video while they're in the hospital. Yvonne didn't have that chance. I battled because I felt like you're stepping on people's beliefs, but I do feel like Yvonne said, being in that position, she didn't get a chance to. Take this virus seriously. Take the pandemic seriously. Whether we want to talk about the nature of the vaccine and its effectiveness or not, take it seriously. She pulled me to say it. So I'm going to say it loud and clear for you, Yvonne. If you haven't been, it's not a message to support all vaccinations. But if you haven't been, think about the consequences. Think about the consequences for your loved one. And I'm saying the same thing to my husband every day. Get vaccinated. So Yvonne, I'm gonna do that. She sends that message.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Adams, I want to thank you for giving me that call. And to Miss Brown's daughter, yes, I still call Miss Brown and Mr. Adams, even though I'm grown and they're growner. I just want to thank Samira and Layla for sharing their mother with us. And I say us, meaning all of her students. Before she had you all, she was a mother to a lot of us. And it's sad because I wish I would have thought about it sooner, but at a time when I desperately needed affirmation from a woman, to be able to respect and look up to a woman, she was one of the school moms that I could do that with. And I'm so grateful for her serving in Lyrical Storm, because I could have gone anywhere else to look for that affirmation, and who knows how it would have turned up if she was not there. So I did write something for her. I'm trying to get myself together. So what I have on this mask, okay. So Ms. Brown, I knew you as an educator, but not how most students see their teachers. Because you didn't teach me through interpretation. You taught me through your creations, the expression of your vulnerability, passion, and imagination. I love watching you love yourself. It showed me that I could love being myself too, just by watching you. I don't remember the first time that we met, though I know that it was after a Lyrical Storm session where it seemed like each poem I penned ended up with me yelling. Anyone there could testify. When you kindly pulled me to the side and said, use your womanly voice. I obliged, not because you were an adult or a teacher, but because in that one statement, you revealed to a young girl who struggled and still does to show softness and stillness, afraid to be perceived as a weakling, that those things were indeed great strengths. And not anything to be afraid or ashamed of. You showed me that we are all born superheroes in some regard, and that vulnerability is not our kryptonite, it's our superchargers. Back then, you probably just thought you were helping me form a new way of speaking. But what you really did was reshape my thinking so I could walk in the full spectrum of my being, and I've been blossoming ever since, so thank you. You are the literary, literal, linguistic cherry on top of my formal education as a student, my informal education as an artist. Your example, words, and smile will never cease to echo in my life. And though for now it may only be internally, those are the same elements that go on for eternity. So thank you so much for sharing her with us. Thank you so much for sharing your mom. Ms. Brown, I'm going to miss you so much, but I look forward to still seeing your smile, even in my mind, and every time I close my eyes and think of you. Thank you.
We will now have a musical selection.
I know a lot of us are very grateful to have had Yvonne in our lives. If she met you one time, you would remember her. She was very unforgettable. None of us will ever forget her. None of us in high school will ever forget Vita. Anybody in the movie theater will never forget late nights, prank calls to CVS pharmacy. I could tell a million stories, but I know we were all grateful to have known her. Grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm thankful for the victories we've won. I could go on and on and on about your words. Because I'm grateful, so grateful just
Lord, flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. If any of y'all know the song, y'all can sing along with me. I am grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm grateful for the victories we've won. I could go on and on and on about your word. Because I'm grateful, grateful, so grateful just to praise you, Lord. Flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. Grateful, 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 gratefulness is flowing from my heart. Grateful, 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 gratefulness is flowing from my heart. Grateful, 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 gratefulness is flowing from my heart. Flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. I have one more thing to say. This is to Neville. I remember the day that Yvonne called me, the first day she was new at Parkdale, right? She called me on her lunch break. And, you know, she probably would kill me if I told you this now, but I'm gonna tell you. She called me on her lunch break and she said, girl, let me tell you about this fine man. Okay? Girl, he work at this school. He an English teacher, girl. He got dreams, girl. That's what she said. She said, he is beautiful. I was like, for real? She was like, girl, he gonna be my friend. He gonna be my friend, girl. Y'all know how she was, right? And I said, oh, okay. And she fell in love with you the first day she saw you. And I'll never forget that. You know, Yvonne has impressions. She makes impressions on a lot of people. A lot of people don't make impressions on Yvonne. If you make an impression on Yvonne, it's like wow for her, you know. And she's like already so big and wow. And I'm sorry if I keep talking about her in the present tense. It's
hard for me to talk about it. But she really loved the girls. She really loved my girls. She really loved her girls. And we felt like, you know, both of our girls were like unicorns. You know, it was these special indigo babies. And I'm really gonna miss her. I talked to her, and I was thinking about what the imam said. You're right. There were things I wish I could say. But the lesson you taught me today, I'm definitely going to take it. And she told me about you a couple years ago when she met you, and she said, girl, he had my pictures there, he looks like fire. I mean, fire in these pictures, girl. So, thank you. Wait. But, definitely, she was a bright light. I know she'll continue to be a bright light for all of us. I'm sure a lot of us who haven't seen each other, she kind of brought us together, and I think we'll probably find ourselves stitched and woven together because of this. So her departure won't be in vain. I think we'll all live life a lot better, seeing how much she lived her own life. But definitely, you got a village.
The next words you will hear is from my uncle Neville Adams, with special remarks. Amen.
All right.
Got it.
I normally don't do a lot of talking. Every time I say that to my kids, they're always like, what? You know, I do a lot of teaching, but I normally don't do a lot of like talking or speaking. I do a lot of performing, but I don't do a lot of just straight talking. Okay, getting a song. Okay, that was my theme music. Whew, Lord. For those of you all don't know, Lyrical Storm is a poetry group that we founded years ago that the kids themselves created, but we just fell into it and went with it. It was so intense that we had kids who were like tattooing Lyrical Storm on themselves, and we were like, oh my God, we're gonna get in trouble. You know, right? Yep. And we had parents calling from overseas in Cameroon, reporting me, saying that I had like brainwashed their children to make them into poets. But it was so intense that we named our daughters Layla and Samira, L and S, from Lyrical Storm, with Layla's middle name being Phoenix, which is my stage name, not my middle name. And of course, Samira's middle name being Love English. Yes, she has two middle names. But that just, I guess, gives you a glimpse into how important or how significant all of those things were to us and her. But I would be remiss if I do not, in my own fashion, no matter what, I'm a person who lives in the truth. I live in the light because it's meant for me. Whew. I was called to be here. And she followed me a lot. Just like Tamika said, she popped up and said, I want to do what you're doing. And that's what we did. But she did not follow me with this. And I am
terribly. Whew, Lord, I am so angry. And I don't know, I am so angry. I'm out there fighting battles every day, lifting up the oppressed, taking care of people. And those same people that I go against, she ended up following this time. And I'm sick and tired of these fascists who sit here and try to distort reality and try to play upon people that they think that they can get their ear. But with that being said, I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't know how I became a funeral poet. I used to be a regular little militant poet, but for some reason, I guess I did a couple of funerals, and then everybody calls me to do funerals, and I've done everybody's funeral, like my mother, my father, like people are like, how do you do those poems? You know, I take a little glimpse of them and do it. But years ago, we used to perform in the circuit, in the club circuit, and we used to go around and perform and do all these things. And she would always go before me. And one time, we at this club, and I guess everybody's been drinking a little bit or whatever. And so she goes up, and she's performing, and I'm like, man, I'm feeling that. And I'm listening, I'm like, she's performing my poem. My poem that I was about to do. And she did a little smirk and walked off, and as I'm passing her, and I'm like, why'd you do that? She said, because you know she was like this. She says to me that you don't know you made it until somebody else is speaking your words. So I'm like, ooh, I mean, that was deep. But now I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I did not create a poem for this because I told her, I said, I'm going to get you back. So how she came in here, this is the way that we're going to know that she is finally made it. This is her swan song. I'm going to read her poem. Love poem. Whew. Cotton candy swirls in the wind over the Twin Towers. A breeze blows pink confetti over a tombstone. Airplanes swim over eyelashes that wink at those below. A boulder violins over a field of lilies to purge ego. Freedom is a rose petal many died for. A baby splashes in Thailand as ripples form below. Oh my God! These technology coming from all over the place. Somebody's speaking. All right, okay, yeah, okay, all right. Freedom is a rose petal many died for. A baby splashes in Thailand as ripples form below. Saddam's statue falls as Iraqi children disarm landmines with their mouths. Children are tired of crying, so they blow kisses out of guns. Titanium drips slowly on a feather. Constipated eyes pray for release. The Titanic crashes into a pillow where I want to lay his head and let him sleep. Chaos charms children at the playground as their daddies drop like flies upon concrete. Tonight, someone is making love and meaning it as people create suicide
outside a window. It's a mystery. Birth, death, love. Me and Nina beg the same thing. Please don't let me be misunderstood. I want to kidnap a healer to heal him in isolation, where the only sound is nothing and love is everything. In a world where guarantees are limited and problems are endless, I want to love you, not because I need to, but because it is the only thing I know how to do right. Please, don't let me be misunderstood.
Thank you for those beautiful words. So this concludes the ceremony for today. The interment will, on behalf of the family and friends, we thank you once again for joining us for her celebration, for Yvonne Brown's celebration. The interment will be at Park Lawn Cemetery in Rockville, Maryland. Thank you.
You didn't recognize me? It's so good to see you. It's so good to hear you. Oh my God. Your time was so